Right. Laura,
Hi.
thank you for joining me on the third episode of Brewed For Success podcast.
You're welcome.
So, firstly, can you just introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are,
Yeah.
what you do, where you come from?
So, I'm Laura.
Yeah.
Been at Novartis for 6.5 years.
Yeah, been here a long time.
Yeah, principal partner, part of the furniture,
Yeah.
always done rail, contract.
Amazing. And was this your first recruitment job?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Okay, so what
Never
were you doing
done
before?
recruitment before. I've sold insurance, sofas, houses, always done sales, just
Okay.
never
now,
recruitment.
Now you sell people.
Now I'm
selling jobs.
I'm stuck.
Amazing. And I suppose why recruitment then? Like, you've always been in sales, you were selling various other things before, but what kind of made you think, do you know what, I'm going to take the plunge, I'm going to go into recruitment, I'm going to try it out?
I think I just kind of fell into it. It was just like, I got a call one day, I think it was Rebecca.
Bex at the time?
Yeah, 6.5 years ago, I can't even remember.
Yeah.
And I were a bit like, just inquisitive, I thought, a bit of me.
Give it a go.
Yeah, gave it a go, and here I am 6.5 years later.
Love that. And I suppose, because I feel like everybody says, I fell into recruitment, it's not really a job where, when you were a kid, you think, do you know what, when I grow up, I want to be a recruiter. So what did you actually want to be when you was a kid?
I'm trying to think. So I remember wanting to be a paramedic.
Okay.
But I don't like blood.
Okay, that
so
makes
then
sense.
I thought, what about the police? And I always wanted to just be a policewoman. I don't know why, I think I liked the uniform. Then I was like, I like interrogating people. Probably why.
Perfect job for recruitment.
Yeah. So, and then obviously here I am interrogating people for recruitment.
Candidates and clients.
Yeah.
I love it. And how would you sort of say then that recruitment has changed? Because, been here for 6.5 years, so I can imagine that, the kind of game and, the job has changed a lot from, 6.5 years ago to what it is now. So, yeah, what would you say, like, the biggest change has been?
I think the market is a lot harder now than what it was 6.5 years ago.
Okay.
I think jobs are not free-flowing. Obviously, we always have a different control period, but it is a lot harder. So I think the building the network that you do and speaking to clients puts you in good stead for now, times like now when jobs are not kind of falling off trees.
Yeah, so you've got to be a little bit more sort of tactical with your time and, manage your desk sort of accordingly. You can't just go in there and do absolutely everything. You've got to really kind of like tailor, what it is that you're doing. Okay, cool. And what advice then would you sort of give recruiters or future recruiters who are looking to, maybe join the industry? Like, what is your main sort of advice that you would give to them?
Run. I'm kidding. No.
I'd
say it's really rewarding if you can be patient.
Yeah.
Manage your time.
Yeah.
Spin plates.
Yeah.
The biggest one is build a strong network.
Yeah.
And strong relationships that are going to be long lasting. It'll put you in a good position so that when a client or a candidate is looking to move jobs or a client needs somebody, they'll just think, oh, I'll ring Laura at Novartis because, or I'll go to so-and-so because they've put the trust in you and you've built a good relationship. So 100%. I think the biggest one for me is being able to manage your time, passionate obviously, you need to persevere with things. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. I think for me, it took me, and I'm not ashamed to say it, 5.5 months to get my first placement.
I always feel like the best recruiters though, it always takes them sort of a little bit longer to get the first placement. Like I know there's a lot of people in here who are sort of top billers who, didn't just come in and got an easy ride straight away. Like they've actually really, kind of grafted and it's not come easy to them. So
I think you appreciate it more. I think 100%. It makes you realise how hard it actually is. It's 100%. Not just a case of picking the phone up to a client and saying, oh yeah, I need somebody, and then ringing somebody and they're a perfect match. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of getting people to trust you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And in terms of sort of building up your network then from what you've just said, how would you sort of recommend that consultants go and build the network? Is there any sort of advice of how you would do that personally? Or?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just about picking the phone up. I think a lot of recruiters now, they email or they send a Teams message or they'll send a LinkedIn message. You need to get on the phone. There's 10 of me, there's 100 of me, there's loads of recruiters out there. So I think the biggest one is building a relationship comes from picking the phone up. And it's not just a case of, oh, hi Laura, yeah, you'll get a lot of knockbacks. So you need to persevere, be persistent, and you just need to smash the door down.
Yeah, 100%. No, I fully agree with you. And I think as well, like with what you're saying in regards to sort of sending emails, like you think how many clients will get emails from recruiters with the same kind of lingo on there, like day in, day out. So I suppose you picking up the phone and actually speaking to them, your personality comes across a lot more.
Yeah.
You can obviously have that two-way conversation. So, because it isn't just transactional, you do need to, like you say, build that relationship, talk to them about the personal life. Like, you want to be knowing what kids have got or where they're going on holiday. And the best way to kind of build up that relationship, like you say, is on the phone. So, yeah, 100%
I think the biggest one as well is getting in front of them. Obviously, you're not just going to ring someone and be like, let's go for a coffee. They'd probably think you're very odd. But
why do you want to go for a coffee with me? You don't even know me.
But I think the biggest one is if you can get them on the phone and then you can get them in front of them, then you're on to a winner.
That's the best way. Like, get your foot through the door.
Yeah.
Win them over. Yeah,
and then they're yours.
100%. No, I do agree. So, in terms of, you've been here for 6.5 years, I can imagine that you will have had some funny and embarrassing stories.
I've got a few.
Along the way. So, please do share, Laura. Like, what is your funniest or most embarrassing
funniest story? I think it's got to be the one where I'm sure it was either my first or second meeting. Me and Warren went to see the safety director for one of the tier ones, and on the way back, I think it was middle of summer, and you know what I'm like with wasps, I just don't like them all. I'm petrified.
There's a wasp in this office, everyone's like, right,
it needs to die. It's got to die.
It needs to die. It cannot
immediately,
live.
or I'm going home.
Yeah. Get the fly swatter out.
It's just not nice. So I remember it clear.
In fact, is this why you work from home so much?
I think, especially summer, I'm going to have to ask for remote work full time.
5 days a week from home, or I'm not coming in.
Or basically no wasps, or windows shut. And me and Warren were on our way back, and I think it was like 5:15, and Warren was like, maybe we could have a drink. So I went to get us a drink.
Yeah.
I think it might have been a cider or something. I don't even know.
Why
anyway,
not treat yourself?
Went and got one, and I felt I could hear buzzing, and I was like, I can hear buzzing, and I feel like something's stinging me. So I said to us, I'm just going to nip to the toilet and just check. And the next thing then, I was in the LNER cafe part with no trousers on, and the lady was shaking them, and she'd pulled the
cafe lady.
The lady behind she pulled the
little shutter
down. And the next thing, I'm stood there in my pants, and she's shaking my trousers. There was no wasp.
It was just all in your head.
Yeah, pretty much. So we continued the journey home, and that was it. And Warren just completely was like, I came back, he went, where have you been? You've been half an hour. I was like, well,
been trying to get the imaginary wasp.
Bearing in mind, I'd only worked for him 3 months, and I'm telling him that I was
really? I thought this was like a recent story.
No. That was like one of my first meetings. Been here 3 or 4 months, and I'm stood having to tell
absolutely
Warren
traumatised
that I've got no pants on.
Brilliant, I love it. I suppose kind of following on with that trend then, so again, been here a long time, I can imagine that some candidates have maybe given you some wild excuses as to why they've either not taken the offer or not shown up to the interview. So
I've got plenty.
Go on then.
One of them was a guy he went to the interview and he got offered and he accepted, but then he couldn't start because he'd started flying lessons. So I don't know if he wanted to then become a pilot instead of working in the rail industry or what, but that was his reason. It's a bit strange, but... And then the other one was, I'm sure this lady told me her grandma had died, but then they died again. So they died twice. I think she'd told me, the recruiter at the time, that this grandma had died twice.
And then later on down the line...
She died again. Which, fair enough.
To be fair, you do have 2 grandparents, but...
Yeah, no, this was the same one.
Right, okay. So was it the mum's mum or the dad's mum?
Yeah, it was the mum's mum twice. Unless she's got more than one mum, I'm not sure.
Who knows these days? But, you never know. Yeah. But that is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Okay. In terms of recruitment then, like, we all have our icks. We all have, things that annoy us.
Yeah.
So what would you say your biggest recruitment ick is?
I've got a fair few. The first one is obviously candidates just completely ghosting you. They're prepared to answer the phone, they're prepared to hear about the job, they're prepared to go to the interview, and then they get offered and then they just disappear like they've gone into dust. Like, I don't understand. The other one is people running before they can walk. Like, slow down, just chill.
Just chill out, take a breather.
Yeah.
Because, as we know, so many things can go wrong. Like...
Yeah, like, it can change. People get an interview and it's like, I'm top biller. I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah, no, you're not. Laura's top biller, actually. So
give me a run.
Stay in your lane.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I think, to be fair, when I was first in recruitment, you know, because I was on rail contract team when I first joined, and similar to you, it took me a long time to get my first placement, because I remember I had 3 really, really good guys in. I think that was a tier 1, it was on some rail project, can't remember now, and really great guys, like, interviewed, they were like, yeah, no, really, really good, we're going to offer this guy, and then literally, just like tumbleweed, like, nothing came from it. It was like ringing the client, what's happening with such and such offer, what's happening with this, and then just didn't amount to anything. So, yeah, obviously a lot can change in a short or long period of time, but yeah, it's just, I think, staying sort of level-headed with it, isn't it, really, and being like...
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of highs. When it's good, you feel like you're on cloud 9, and it's literally the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So it's being able to manage your expectations.
Yeah, and how would you maybe sort of like put a bit of a positive spin on, you know, if somebody is having a bit of a crappy day, like, what advice would you maybe give them in terms of helping you to sort of like turn that around then, would you say?
So tomorrow, I'd just say tomorrow's a new day. So even if this was at 9 o'clock, I'd say get through the rest of today. Tomorrow, this afternoon, completely different. I've had it before where I've literally come in, I've had a finisher, then I've had another finisher.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon, I've had a client ring me and say, oh, Laura, I need you to payroll this guy because...
Yeah.
We want to put them through you, so it can change in an instant.
Yeah.
So I'd just say, regardless of the time of day, it's not going to be forever. Tomorrow's a new day, and just try not... I know easier said than done, but things change.
100%. And I think it's always those unexpected ones as well. Like, you could have been working like a grade 3 job, you know, you've just thrown a few candidates in, not really worked it, you know, extensively, because, you know, there's a few things where you're thinking might not come off, but then, you know, those CVs could have been in with that hiring manager for 6-7 weeks, which, as we know, is a long time to not get any CV feedback. But then all of a sudden something could have happened or changed with that client situation. And they're like, oh my God, sorry, we've not come back to you sooner. We actually want to interview all 3 of those guys. So,
and then you're like, what?
And then you're like buzzing. So yeah, I'm fully with you on that. You know, you've just got to kind of, like you say, tomorrow's a new day. Something good will eventually come. You've just got to stick at it and keep that kind of level-headed.
Level-head, yeah.
Yeah, 100% agree. And then a little bit of a scenario question then. So, what would you say is the most stressful? So, either a hiring manager changing the job spec last minute, or without any notice, or a candidate ghosting you?
Definitely a candidate ghosting you, 100%. The reason for that is if a client changes the job spec last minute, chances are someone in your team or you will have a candidate to put into that job, regardless it's getting filled. Yeah. But a candidate ghosting you, it's like, where have you gone?
Yeah, where
Pick
are you?
Pick the phone up.
Where are you?
Grab a backbone or get a backbone.
Yeah.
And just tell us you don't want it.
Yeah.
So no, definitely, I'm 100% on that.
I agree. Well, Laura, I think that is all of the questions.
No worries.
Absolutely rattled through them, but thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
No worries.
And yeah, thank you.
Anytime.